Hello everyone, welcome to the Leaf Heart Path. My name is Andrea Graham and I will be your tarot card reader for today. Today's pick a card reading theme is messages from your spirit guides, ancestors, or those who are walking beside you and want to share a little advice from the other side. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you stumble upon it, there will be a message in one of the groups for you. Keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages that resonate and leave the rest for others on their journeys. If you're new to pick a card readings, take a moment to tune into the groups that you see here in front of you. This is group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4 is over here on the right. I am going to add stones for those who like choosing with them. Group 1, you have horn coral to mark your group, and you will be working with the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot. Group 2, your stone is a Milky Quartz, and the tarot deck that you are working with today is the Hocus Pocus Tarot. Group 3, you have this Jacobsville Sandstone to mark your pile, and you will be working with the Halloween Tarot today. Group 4, your stone is Yooperlite, which looks amazing under a UV light, and you'll be working with the Everyday Witch Tarot. Take a moment to choose your pile. There is no right or wrong way to do so. If you need a little more time, feel free to pause the video. Timestamps and chapters are listed in the description box and the video bar below. Skip ahead to the pile that has the most resonance for you using those timestamps. You can absolutely pick more than one group. I recommend beginning with a pile that resonates the most strongly for you and then revisiting this introduction to see if anything has shifted. Oftentimes we watch one, we may have been pulled to another one, and then we find that that second pull maybe is no longer there. You may feel satisfied with the message that you have, or that little pull is just sort of evaporated. I guess that's the word for it. And if you're still feeling that pull, however, check out your other intuitive picks then. From that point forward, you may find that you're not just drawn to one, but drawn to 2 piles or 3, or possibly even all 4 readings, especially with the way that these are divided up this time. So friends, that is it for me here, but I will see you over in your video. Bye-bye. Hello, group 1. If you picked the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck and this horn coral, then welcome to your messages from Spirit reading. I'm super excited about this one today. Where do you want to sit? Maybe we'll put you right up here. Okay, so what we're doing is we are going to be looking at the spirits who have messages for you, who they might be, how you're going to know them, and what do they have to say. We'll likely take a look at more than one, and if you hear that snoring, that is Goomba sawing logs for you. He's performing. I would give this a solid 8 out of 10 right now. We want to keep in mind this is a big group of people who are watching these, so with this in particular, with this reading in particular, take what resonates and leave the rest. So, for example, you may not connect with the particular spirit who is coming forward in the way that they're described, but what they have to say may strike a chord within you. Or you may recognize the individual, but you may not resonate as much with the particular message. And this is why some of you may have multiple messages across several groups today with this reading and the way it's being conducted. So we're going to hop right into it today. So your first card is the High Priestess. There's Sally. With Jack on the Sun card. I love that one. He looks so happy. Okay, we're going to start with just these 2, and then we'll see where this takes us from here. So right away, I am being pulled to talk about ancestry. This has something to do with your lineage. I'm looking at the smoke here around her. I'm looking at the flower I'm thinking of its growth and this cord here where the lights are being strung from. One bulb of many. This has something to do with your lineage, your ancestry. So the particular spirit that's coming through right now, this may be an individual or individuals you were acquainted with or aware of in this lifetime. But then there's a possibility there may be some others back a ways. Like if you're this green bulb here, we may be talking about a red bulb. You might know the person, or we could be talking about that blue one several generations back. I'm also being made to understand the idea of adoption. So some of you are getting messages from either your adopted family's line, and then from others, still, this is going to be your biological family. So it's being stressed to me that if this is your adopted family's ancestry, know that you are very much a part of this. Even if you were placed somewhere and it was like a temporary foster connection, that can happen in there as well. Just, this would be through an adult of some kind where they had an impact on you, whatever that impact might be. And there's an ancestry here. There's somebody that is claiming you. They are claiming you as one of their own. And while the ties that bind you are showing themselves differently to me, what I'm seeing is portraits almost in a book, an old photo album, and it's almost like a family tree also. And these swirly kind of lines are coming down like vines. I see red for blood and a blood tie. And then yours, if you're adopted, it's green. And just know that they're as unique and beautiful and just as much a part of your familial life as like a blood tie relation would be, these particular ancestors. So I'm not getting this is singular either. Okay, so this isn't just a spirit coming through for you, group one. This is a group of spirit. These are ancestors that are approaching as a group. And if we want to be kind of literal with this, I want to say it's like a woman. And typically on the sun card, we see like a little child on the back of a horse in the Rider-Waite tradition. That's where my brain is going. However, because this is a big group again, for many of you, the gender, the age, the number is going to be quite different. Whatever is striking you as truth, lean into that truth. That would be direct communication from these ancestors to you. Okay, so now I want to get into the messages that they have. I'm going to pull another card. And the next card in the group is the Magician. Oh, that's interesting because we just talked about a woman and a child. So quite literally, we have a bigger witch and a smaller witch. It could be a mother and a child. So these guides' messages. Now I want to say, have some of you been having a bit of a tough time? Because what I'm feeling is this is very much about support. And you recognizing yourself to be the incredible human being who you are. And they see you, group one, as this individual having this light around you, like a spotlight. And that you've been blessed with many gifts and many talents and many opportunities here. And I feel like you might not see all of these things. Thank you, Gooba. The image and phrase of buried treasure is coming to mind. This is what is around you. You can't always see it, but it's near, and it's a lot closer to the surface than you think. This glow about you, this specialness. It's like you could, if you were near to this treasure and you could see it, you could just reach over and just brush off some of the sand quite easily right off the top of the treasure chest, and it would be right there, easily within reach. The chest would be able to be unlocked, and it feels like they are urging you to stop what it is you're doing, to look around, and then see all the potential around you. So some of you have been in a funk recently, and this is their message to you. This is them urging you to relax, not to put so much pressure on yourselves would be a message here. Because it's like the pressure won't allow you to make a move toward this chest of dreams. It's keeping you suspended. And it's not that group one, you're not going to get there, you are. But it's like things are just slower going. Now, if you're able to put some worries to the side and let go of some persistent thoughts, or things are going to be much smoother for you. It's like when this treasure chest finally does open, you can see things more clearly. I want to say too, this is not external treasure. This is something that is already inside of you, group one. And it just, again, it needs that little dusting off. It could be a point of view that you come to realize, an attitude, an understanding, a belief to align with. Circumstances and experiences will help you reach the point of integration, but you can also move things along more quickly should you wish to. It's kind of like the message is to get out of your own way. Maybe you've heard that recently from other people. And to those of you who are putting too much pressure on yourselves, the other thing I'm hearing is don't forget to be human. Enjoy yourselves. You cannot always be perfect. You are going to screw things up, and that's okay. And it's like I'm seeing a bird's eye view of somebody trying to solve a puzzle. And this would be you, like your tongue sticking out, your face is kind of screwed up in concentration. And the more you're concentrating and hyper-focusing, the more you're blocking yourself. And these guys want you to loosen up a little bit. Go have some fun, they say. If you see Nightmare, you know Sally like sneaks out quite a bit out of the tower where she lives. Be like Sally in that instance. Go have some fun. Yeah. Particularly with the female. Let's go here. This is a sign to me that you likely have a strong intuition, group one, in some matters within your life. It may not be everything. So this intuition is going to be stronger when you are a tad more relaxed and not so much in your own head. This individual, not just Sally here, but this individual who is communicating with you, this spirit, this ancestor, also had a strong intuitive bend in their incarnation. And they're saying that you are much like them in this regard. So you can find ways to tap into your intuition and use it within your daily life. Should you wish it, this ancestor can almost act like an intuitive guide for you. Or a coach from the other side. There are many, many ways to develop intuition and communicate with your guides. So you want to do what feels right to you. And if this is something that you are new at, there are many free articles out on the internet. In fact, I have my intuitive development blog roundup linked in the description box under the video. That's something that you can check out. It's totally free. And with time, you will find a system that works for you, whatever that is. And I almost see that part of this treasure chest that we've been talking about is this gift of intuition from this ancestor to you. Something that links the two of you in your present day. And I see them standing. We talked about you standing in the spotlight. They're standing in the spotlight with you and handing you this box, this beautiful box, which contains all your intuitive gifts. Yeah. And the other message from these two ancestor spirits is that of the magician in general. You have everything that you need at your fingertips to create the life that you desire. There is so much power within you, group one. It's a matter of tapping into that and taking first steps. So don't get so paralyzed that you aren't going to take initiative, because not everything has to be perfect, right? Just begin moving. Momentum is going to grow for you. You know, think about in like cartoons, or there's that like cliche, that thought about the snowball effect. You know, that snowball that starts rolling downhill, it's going to accumulate more snow and speed as it moves. This is your momentum and progress as you make your move. Yeah. So recognizing that power and just going for it. Just begin moving. And additionally, we want to maybe think about adopting the attitude of the younger appearing spirit that I saw in my head. So this the younger witch, or just even Jack's joy over here on the sun card. His wonder, like have fun, be transparent. I think we always, like as adults, forget to tap into the joy and wonder and curiosity that children bring. It's easy to move beyond that and forget that. But you can do this. Things don't need to be so heavy and hard all of the time. It's okay to take a step back and not overanalyze something, especially if you are someone who's always on the inner quest. I know that is something that I need to catch myself doing from time to time if I start kind of going down a rabbit hole. You need to make time to play. Play is so important. You know, even if you have to schedule it in, playfulness can widen our curiosity about others and the world, and as a result, our general enjoyment just increases. Yeah. You know what's interesting too? I'm catching this, like all of the spirits here are all smiling. Everybody has a smile on their face, so I feel like that's an important thing. This enjoyment is really coming through for you. So that's what I'm getting for this group of ancestor spirits. And what I'd like to do is see who else is coming through for you. So we're going to slide these guys over here, and then I'm going to lay out your other cards. Okay, so we have the Seven of Needles or Seven of Swords, the Five of Pentacles or Five of Presents, and the Queen of Potions or the Queen of Cups. And I likely will kind of switch back and forth between saying one or the other, just because, yeah, it's easy to do so. So what I'm actually reading just intuitively is that I'm getting some heartbreak coming through for you, Group 1. I'm so sorry. If you are experiencing this right now, yeah, it feels, for some of you, it feels fresh. I feel like crestfallen. Like I have my hopes set on something or someone, and things maybe just aren't panning out right now in the manner anticipated. Now I say right now because we don't always know how things are going to work out. And I feel like the spirit stepping forward is one who is noticing this, noticing a current sadness, noticing a current heartbreak, or who has been there as you have dealt with these kinds of emotions in the past. Yeah. So that would be our Queen of Cups that we have here, our Queen of Potions. So I think this spirit, I feel this spirit is likely a spirit guide for you, one who has been there to see you through some of these ups and downs in life. So for some of you, I feel that they've always been with you. And for others, this isn't so much a primary guide as much as one who steps in during emotional hardship, right? They have a very steady and balanced and nurturing energy, but super matter of fact as well. I would expect this to be a very grounding kind of feeling, which is particularly helpful if you are feeling emotionally dysregulated, Group 1. There's a lot of patience here. And I feel like for some of you, there may be a feeling like you've been here before, something familiar. This guide is here standing next to you, holding you, supporting you. There is a bit of a no BS kind of attitude. In some instances, for some of you, this is definitely tough love. But underneath, This is someone who's very tender and who loves you very much. They want what's best for you, your growth as well. And so they are going to push you, especially if there's a pattern that you're trying to break surrounding this. And it could be you have a tendency to pick unavailable partners, those who are avoidant in some way, perhaps. Maybe they don't want to be seen, so they're not, and working through their own stuff, so they're not putting their best foot forward. May not even be malicious. That's just one example. Whatever this is, you may be aware of it, but perhaps aren't doing anything concretely to move away from it, from this habit that doesn't serve you. And again, that was one example. There could be many different things. And I want to say too, for those who are especially sensitive, like our INF types, the Myers-Briggs inventory, or those who have a more anxious or fearful attachment style, those who are empathic or feel very wounded with rejection, this guide is definitely more of the tough love type for you as well, because I feel this dichotomy between the two of you. I'm just getting I see a line here and a line over here. And it's a very interesting juxtaposition when you come together, but it's one that feels very good in terms of pushing your boundaries or limits to kind of get you moving in new directions and in new ways. I do feel you guys make a very good team. So the message here for those it resonates with is one of next steps, planning. What will you do to honor yourself and care for yourself? How will you break bad habits or patterns of, say, like self-sacrifice, self-surrender, self-neglect? How can you set boundaries in place and maintain them so that you can begin making new and better choices for yourself, particularly in the realm of relationships with others? So these might include romantic relationships or friendships or familial relations, or even relationships with those people that you work with. What are the smallest steps that you can take each day to ensure that you're creating new and healthy habits, for example, for yourself? Because baby steps count, because they're still steps. So I think this is going to require some self-reflection, group one, thinking about what you would like to do, who you'd like to be, and as the best version of yourself. Where do you want to go? If you're someone who's really guarded all the time, or you have one foot in a relationship and maybe one out the door, how can you lay down that burden? Drop some of those things and just be more open. Or if you're anxious and you're worried about where things are going, if you have enough, if you are enough, what can you do to give security to yourself? This particular spirit guide wants what's best for you and is asking for a little reflection and for you to establish some new habits that will ensure you're taking care of yourself in the best way possible. And they're lending you their strength as you process emotions or situations that are difficult. You may sense them there. It's like we've got this hand just like on your shoulder, or sitting next to you. And I feel like they would have a palpable energy to them, as they are quite developed in their own communication. Things feel like it's really easy to pick up like what they're putting down, I think. Yeah. All right. So that is what's coming through for that second spirit. And what I'd like to do is just look at any other last energies or advice that's coming through for you. So I'm going to grab an oracle deck here, and we have the I Am Powerdeck, we have the Sacred Self-Care Oracle, and we have Inquire Within, and I'm just going to kind of go off of my gut and see what feels good here. Okay, we pulled from the Sacred Self-Care deck and the I Am Power deck, and we have Be Still, Ground Yourself, and Sync with the Moon, and then also the card I Am Student. And so the be still and the grounding, actually, to me, that kind of goes hand in hand. I feel like from both guides, from both sets of guides, I should say, the ancestor spirit and also our intuitive guide that's coming through, the spirit guide, that both, this is kind of a team effort here. They're getting you in a pincher attack from both sides. You being the student here, but just asking you to go within a little bit, to be still, to cultivate stillness within yourself. That's going to help you also connect a little bit better to intuition, and then possibly this ancestor spirit. We talked about the female. Grounding yourself, I feel, is also very important as you're taking that inventory that we spoke about over here. You know, just thinking, where can I be on track with where I want to go and who I want to be? You know, what does my future self look like? How do they act? How do they behave? And then singing with the moon, this is interesting. It's almost, to me, finding meaning in something. I don't know. These rocks here, this Jacobsville sandstone, almost look like like the moon making a journey here across those different colors. And so that's interesting to me that this kind of popped out. It's like finding something outside of yourself, whether that's almost like literally being outside in nature, finding a space where you can feel awe and feel everything around you that's so much bigger. And so it could be talking about nature. It could be literally talking about moon cycles, and some people even organize their day or their week. They plan things out, their month, according to the different things going on in astrology, for example. Paying attention to your body. That's also something that's coming through here. There's a lot of possibilities, but this is almost, to me, creating some kind of sacred ritual, something for you that takes you outside of yourself a little bit differently. It's like a bit of a journey. And then always remembering that you are the student, that there's lots of room for you to learn. There's lots of ways to improve. And I think there are a lot of journeys that perhaps you have not thought about being a student on. And there may be places you end up going long term that surprise you. And so just be a little bit open to that, group one. And those are the messages that are coming through for you today. That's where I'm going to leave it for you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you're inclined, please share your thoughts in the comment box below. And because we're talking about family, let's leave a tree emoji. Pick your favorite one. And that can represent your ancestry. And this will also let others know that you are part of the Group 1 crew, so you can find each other. And then, of course, any words that you choose to leave with us do help guide others on their own paths, should you wish to leave anything. And if you did feel this video was of value, please share with others who may likewise enjoy it. And if you did enjoy it, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell so you are notified of any new uploads. I am sending you love and light, Group 1. And as always, I have big gratitude for you being here, especially if you're listening all the way to the end. Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you, Group 1. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends. Hey, Group 2. If you picked the Hocus Pocus tarot deck and this Milky Quartz, then welcome to your Messages from Spirit reading. All right, so what we're going to do today is take a look at the spirits who have messages for you, who these spirits might be, how do you know them, and what do they have to say. We'll likely take a look at more than one. That's what we did in the first reading. So keep in mind as well that as we're doing this, this is a big group of people who are watching, so please take what resonates, leave the rest for others. So for example, you may not connect with a particular spirit coming forward, but what they have to say may strike a chord with you. Or you might recognize the individual talking, and that's your connection, like that's your validation, but you may not resonate as much with what they're saying. And that is why some of you today may have messages across multiple groups, particularly because we have, in the last reading, we split it into two. There were two guides that came through. So we're going to hop into it. Let's take a look at some of your cards here. We begin with the King of Lightning, which is King of Swords. We have the Two of Potions or the Two of Cups. And, okay, yeah. Ace of Wands or the Ace of Candles. Beautiful. So this strikes me as an angel or a spirit guide who's focused on building you up within relationships. The relationship you have with yourself, the relationships you have with others. They are presenting to me as male, I want to say, although this is a large group who is watching. So therefore gender is going to vary depending on who's tuning in right now. Go with what resonates the most for you. Lean into that. So this would be, and if you hear the sighing and the snoring in the background, that's Goomba. This is an angel or a guide, I feel, who has been assigned to you or who made a contract with you prior to this incarnation, if that is a belief of yours, meaning they've always been with you in this lifetime. So they strike me as being very patient, very kind, not incredibly emotive themselves, however. I see them with you when you were younger, perhaps out at a park, on a playground, or in some kind of public space with other children around, and there might be some tears on your end. It could just even be you're visiting another child's house. Might be at school. They have a very steady, warm, and a loving presence, but I would say also it's not overwhelming. It's like a cool brush of wings or air is what I want to say. An air kiss. I don't know where that's coming from, but those are the words that pop into my mind. So while they are always near in a sense, they're always available, they aren't with you every moment of every day, every second. It's when something emotional pops up that they pop in right near to you. And so you do not need to do anything, group 2, to gain their attention. It's their job to be with you during these times. This being is absolutely excellent with clearing. Yes. So clearing. Think of this like clearing out your auric field. Like I see we're shining a light here. Rebalancing chakras, cutting cords, psychic ties, kind of seeing like the stuff that you're carrying around with you that is not yours. They're all about assisting you in keeping your energy field clear of the influence of others as much as possible. Keeping you, basically. And this is particularly helpful if you identify as somebody who's highly sensitive or someone who is an empath. And the more clean and free of influence your energy field is, the more freed up you are to pursue your own creative endeavors. And this is what makes you shine, group 2. That's you. They're dressed up like the angel, but this is you. This is you totally at ease and in touch with yourself. This guide or angel makes sure to support you in that endeavor. And this, having this kind of guide around you, this would make a huge difference for the people who are watching who are mediums or psychics or sensitives, empaths, whatever label you identify with, whatever you claim. So with this clean energy field, with balanced chakras, you are free to pursue your own goals and your wishes and your hopes and your dreams without so much influence of others around you. You go after what you want, not what other people want. There's clarity for you. And the information you might get from angels, ancestors, spirit guides, deceased loved ones is going to be more clear because of your clarity. In that instance, you are a clear channel, group 2. And that is something that this being assists you with. Now, obviously, they can't do all of this for you. And part of their message today may be about energetic self-care, psychic self-defense, whatever you want to call it. I've heard it called many different things, whatever you're comfortable with. So it's like whatever you need to do to feel grounded and clear, free from the influence of other people and other stuff. And for some of you, I want to say this is food sensitivities too. that you might want to watch. So food consumption can absolutely influence your auric field to an extent. It's just from the inside out. You're being encouraged to either develop an energetic cleansing practice that makes sense to you or amend what you are currently doing. Now, just like for context, I used to teach in a public school in America, and I was constantly bombarded by others' energies. And I found if I was not taking care of myself energetically throughout the day, the energies from others began to take a toll on my aura, even on my health. Now, I'm somebody who happens to be incredibly sensitive, so just keep that in mind. That's not going to be the same for everybody. I found, though, that when I was doing better, it's because I took time to meditate before work. You know, if I combined meditation, maybe 4 or 5 minutes of grounding and clearing meditation, and a few more minutes of Reiki, that just lifted me up for the day. So maximum, we're talking 8 to 10 minutes. Another thing I would do is I would eat lunch in my room if the people around me were a little more draining, or I just was not in a state where I could be receptive for them. And I knew I couldn't be present with them in a positive way. And maybe people didn't always understand that, but I knew it was something that I needed to do, not just for myself, but also for them. And so I'd use a quiet lunchtime to recharge my batteries. And I used cleansing sprays, Palo Santo. You can also find ones that have like cedar in them and other types of things. And I would spray those at the start of each day during lunch or recess time. And at the end of the day as well, because obviously I couldn't clear my classroom with smoke. I'm not going to be lighting candles in there. So anytime the students were out of the space and I had a moment, I'd be like spritzing. And my classroom all smelled great. I will say, like, people came in for that. You could also do like essential oils in like a, I'm not going to say it, like atomizer. That's not right. Like a vaporizer of some kind. A diffuser. That's the word I'm looking for. I went to like everything else. It's a diffuser, Andrea. Okay. Those are really good too. That can be really clearing. If it lifts you up, it's clearing, basically. So you can kind of go off of how you feel with these practices. And the other thing was I used crystals in this space, and I would make sure to periodically swap them out or take them home to clear them and charge them, bring them back. And at the day's end, when I went home, I would immediately change my clothes. Because your clothes can pick up energy, your jewelry, anything that you have on your body, your hair. And I would clear my aura with smoke. I would even go under the soles of my feet. And I would try to do something outside when the weather was nicer. But I mean, really, there's no bad weather. It's just like bad clothes, right? So that might be gardening in the spring. I'd take walks, winter walks, those kinds of things. That helped tremendously. And, when possible, I'd try to take a salt bath at night, or I'd scrub myself with salt in the shower. And I would envision everything going down the drain. That's like a practice I would do when I was finished. And some nights, maybe I'd conduct an evening clearing of psychic ties or astral debris. Maybe I'd cut cords. And for myself, I would see an energy healer periodically for tune-ups. And that wasn't even that often, once a month at the max. It might be every 3 months. And I ended up having a great session with a woman who taught me about shielding practices, which also helped throughout the week. Now, putting that all together, that might sound like a lot, but I promise you, the longest I spent doing anything might have been the shower, the bath, or doing something outside with the dog. Everything else just quickly became a habit or a routine with intention. It was very quick, and the sum of all of these things, the sum of all of these parts yielded great results for me. So if you can get a 1% improvement from a shielding meditation, and a 1% improvement from spending time outside, and a 1% improvement from using an Epsom salt scrubber bath, these little things add up to an overall larger improvement in your functioning and the clarity you experience daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, I know I'm a better reader and that I function better in my day-to-day life when I'm energetically taking care of myself. If you're here, this is a message for you too. And I would love to hear some of your energetic self-care practices if you would share them with us in the comment box below. Perhaps group 2's emoji can be the sparkly heart. If you drop that in the comments, we'll know you're part of group 2, and you can let us know what works for you. What have you tried? What are you still working on? What do you want to get better with? What kind of goals do you have for yourself regarding this? Because we would love to hear your experiences, and you might pick up on something that other people hadn't thought of before that really strikes a chord for them. So back to our guide here. Since we've been talking about this, I feel like that's where our 2 of Potions has really been coming in. This guide or angel is encouraging this clarity for you because you're going to find daily interactions easier. Your overall mood is going to be lifted with this dedicated practice. Once it's established. If you're here, you're likely the kind of individual where you pick up on other people's stuff a little bit more than some folks might. You may find that your relationships with others improve once you're only carrying your own energies and nobody else's. And I get the feeling this is something that's well within your reach. It's almost like this guide's here helping to kind of cut through the cobwebs. Right here, we've got a light. And to take the edge off of the big stuff. But you are meant to experiment and develop your own energetic self-care practices in this lifetime. So I want to say, they're one of your biggest cheerleaders, even if they aren't super emotive. I feel like a big happy heart from, on the inside from them. They only want your growth and happiness, group 2. And the end goal of this is clarity in relationships, including the relationship with yourself. There will likely be much better boundaries that you uphold without things being so severe or hard, and just a general peacefulness as a result of your work. So this to me feels like a very promising avenue to take a look into. All right, that was actually quite a bit from this guide. So we are going to close that part up, and we're going to take a look at who else is coming through. So I'm going to move this over here and then pull the rest of our cards. Okay, so we have here the 5 of Lightning in reverse, which is the 5 of Swords, and the 2 of Candles, which is the 2 of Wands, and we also have the 10 of Potions, 10 of Cups, and then the 10 of Candles or 10 of Wands in reverse as well. So I want to say to you that the second spirit that is coming through for you in this reading today is someone who is a deceased family member, someone who has crossed over, possibly an ancestor if you've not lost someone directly. But for a lot of you, this is likely someone that you did know in your lifetime. And I'm getting, for some of you, this also may be a friend who feels like family. Yes, a friend who feels like family. And what I'm seeing is a person that you may have known in childhood or as a teenager who's passed. They may have passed at a younger age, possibly during adolescence, and for others it will be later, like 20s, maybe 30s. So again, either an ancestor, a family member, or a friend who felt like family to you, something in this arena. And likely there are other options out there that are also similar or close that I'm not naming. Just, it's, again, lean into what feels right to you, because I think you're going to anchor into this person fairly quickly and know who they are. So the 2 of Wands to me, this is like you, they're watching you from afar. They have this altered viewpoint now. It's new. It's like they're looking at a little snow globe. And if you zoom into that snow globe in their hands, because I'm thinking of the Rider-Waite deck, I think that there's like a globe they're looking at, or they're holding it. It's like the entire scene inside the snow globe comes to life, and it's you in there, and it's your life experiences. I feel like it's like looking at a crystal ball. I feel this warmth in my solar plexus from this, at this thought, and I think that's how they're feeling too. And you might also pick up on this from them, that feeling of warmth in the solar plexus region of your body. And they're smiling as they're watching you from afar. It's like your antics is what's coming through. It's the feeling I get. They enjoy seeing your relationships with others and how they play out, and your experiences and your moments of truly living. any awe that you feel. And some of you are goofy who are watching this, so you're a lot of fun, and they find this very endearing. Yeah, this is someone I think who would do all that they could to protect you. Yeah, it's a protective feeling, like a brother, a cousin, a parent, an uncle, even if they're just a friend. There's a desire to shield you a bit from sorrow or any hardships that come your way. While I feel like it's not possible from their place on the other side, say like compared to angels or higher beings, like they're not going to be able to intervene for you on your behalf necessarily. What they can offer you is, it's so much unconditional and undying love. So group 2, if you're having a difficult time, you can talk to them and they're going to be right there next to you by your side. You may have your own unique way of sensing them. Perhaps it's a feeling, perhaps it's a scent. Maybe you have the urge to like laugh out of nowhere. That can happen, absolutely. This individual just simply wants the best for you. And if there was any way that they could influence or intercede on your behalf, they would find a way to do so, because they want this like, 10 of Cups contentment for you, this energy, this bliss for you. And so part of their message, I think, is about laying your burdens down. That's what I'm getting with this, with the 10 of Wands. That is reversed, or 10 of Candles. For me, there's this feeling like of needing to work really hard, or clinging onto things that perhaps don't serve you. And just know you don't have to prove yourself to anybody at all. They just want to remind you of that. That's really being emphasized. They want you to drop that urge. Perhaps catch yourself when you start leaning into it and just let it go, like back up. And they want to tell you how things may be a bit easier for you with a shift. And I get the feeling it's more simple than you may be able to see it for. Like you might not believe that this is possible, but they're insisting it can be done for you. So it's almost like you've been conditioned into believing that you need to prove yourself. Like, I've got to work really hard, so people notice me. Or you're clinging on to something like beliefs, for example, or to a person who doesn't serve you. And it's not, I don't know. When I say serve you, I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's more like you guys just aren't helping one another out. You're not supporting each other in a way that's healthy, perhaps. They're showing you relaxing your grip, and all these worries, all these wands, these candles, just, it's like the lights go out and they drop one by one. And you're able to stand up straight, you're able to look ahead, and you're able to walk away. No cares about what was left. And I want to say, if this is a person, you can work with this first guide or angel we met for cutting ties to this person or situation. That's absolutely something that you guys can connect on here. And I think things feel much easier and you're more in alignment with the happy future that the 10 of Potions tells us about. When you can release this situation, this person, this habit. And I see it almost like a child who's like nervous to swim. Say they're in the water, right? And they're holding onto a dock and they're wearing a life vest, and they're kicking their legs, and they're all anxious about letting go of that dock. Maybe they've been working on this for a little bit, and the parents are kind of like, come on. Like, we've been doing this for a week. We're leaving today. Vacation's over. You got to go back to school. You're done. Get out of the water. And this particular being who's talking to us, like an advisor, think of them almost as like the patient grandfather who swims up and encourages the child, it's okay. Like, I got you, let go. Like, they're holding them and they're showing them security. And finally they do. And they realize they can float safely. And I think that's what this being is doing for you from the other side. Their patience and loving kindness is here. And while they may not be able to intervene or intercede, like we talked about earlier, as much as they might want, or as much as angels might be able to, if this is an angelic guide, they can offer presence and they can offer gentle, energetic guidance. And that is their message for you today, that it's okay to let go of some things in life and see where that takes you. It's like you become more buoyant. Yes, yes, yes. Like I see you popping up, right? In water, like a cork would pop up if you were holding it down. And I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised at what's around the riverbed for you, what's around the corner, when you can relax and release. And they remind us that, life is for the living, and you can go out and embrace that in joy. And I do want to mention for some of you watching that you might want to check out Joe Dispenza's work, particularly his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. He also has a lot of great YouTube videos if you're curious as to what he has to say. But if you find you're stuck by limiting beliefs or attitudes or need, a kick in the pants, he's got a great way for you to shift your thinking in that book. And again, it's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take a look at any last energies that are coming through, like advice that's coming through for you. And I have 3 decks here next to me. I've got the Sacred Self-Care Oracle, Inquire Within, and the I Am Powerdeck, and we're just going to intuitively kind of see what's going on. I'm going to shuffle these out, and we'll see what the advice is. Okay, so we have, we did Sacred Self-Care Oracle and the I Am Powerdeck. And what we have here is Alone Time, Sweet Treat, Energy Work, and I Am Creative. Now, this was interesting. This popped up first, the Alone Time. And instantly, I was drawn to the hoop that's around this person, which reminds me of like the space like your aura might occupy. And so that immediately made me think of some of the things we talked about here. Just, again, that little notion of spending some time alone and then maybe dipping into whatever energetic self-care looks like for you. And then we also have the Sweet Treat, which was interesting because we talked about food sensitivities over here a little bit. That doesn't mean you can't eat sweet things sometimes. It's also, to me, tied into the other kind of message that life is for the living. So enjoy yourself while you're taking care of yourself. If you've been like restrictive a little bit, it's time to like loosen up a little in some ways. And then the energy work, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. This might be diving into it a little bit more. Just again, or possibly getting work done from others as well, getting some cords cut, that kind of thing. And then tapping into your creativity, seeing yourself. This might be a good mantra for you. I am creative. Life is for the living. Embrace it, is what I'm hearing. So that is what we have here, friends. Yeah. Okay. That's what's coming through. So I'm going to leave your reading here today. And thank you again so much for being here with us. If you're inclined, please share your thoughts in the comment box below. Leave that little sparkling heart emoji we talked about earlier. And, that'll let others know that you're part of the Group 2 crew. And any words you choose to leave with us guide others on their own paths. So again, especially with that, the energy work. If you felt that this video was of value, please share it with others who may likewise enjoy it. Likewise, if you did enjoy this, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you're notified of any upcoming uploads. And Group 2, I'm going to leave you here. I'm sending you love and light. I have big gratitude for you being here, especially listening all the way to the end here as I'm stumbling through my words. I love it and I appreciate it. So thank you. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends. Hey, Group 3, if you picked the Halloween deck and the Jacobsville Sandstone, then welcome to your Messages from Spirit reading. Isn't this so cool? Um, so what we're doing with today's reading, like, isn't this rock so cool? We are going to be looking at any spirits that want to come through that have messages for you. And so we'll identify who those spirits might be, how you know them, and what they might have to say. And so this could include ancestors or spirit guides or perhaps a deceased loved one, an angel, basically who's around you at the moment. And we have been looking at 2 groups each time, so that's likely where we'll be headed with this group too. And there are a lot of people watching, so please take what resonates and leave the rest. So for example, you may not connect with a particular spirit coming forward. However, what they have to say may strike a chord with you. Or you might recognize the individual and that's your validation right there. Yay, it's exciting, but you may not resonate exactly with what their message is. So this is why some of you are going to be having messages likely across multiple groups today. So be sure to check out the other groups as well. All right, we're going to hop right into it. All right, 9 of Pumpkins or 9 of Pentacles. Strength. And the King of Imps, or this would be the King of Wands in reverse. Okay. Cool. So, right away, very interesting. Wow. No, but everybody's has been like so different, and yours is no exception here. So this individual is either a female ancestor or someone from your mother's side of the family, matrilineal is what I'm getting, or it was a famous or an elevated female in history for where they lived at their time. So maybe not huge, like worldly known, but elevated. I have never read anything quite like this before, so this is really interesting to me. And whatever one of those resonates for you, maybe all of them in some way, like lean into it. So for some of you, this is somebody like Marie Antoinette. This would be somebody who has money or power or both, and they came across tough times. They're elevated and they come across tough times, and then something happens. So they may have been famous, they may have been infamous, but likely influential in either case. They have had other past lives as well, and it's possible that you overlapped with this individual. Look at this, I'm being drawn to like the figure 8 here. The infinity sign there on that strength card. So that's you two. I think you guys did overlap in a past life, and it might even be that well-known life. And many of you also, though, in return, have served as spirit guides for this individual as well. So it's like you're taking turns. One of you incarnates and the other one stays behind. That's so cool. So if you're drawn to a particular individual in history, this person might actually be your guide. So keep in mind too that idea of your own ancestry, you know, that mother's connection on that side of the family. And again, this also may include those of you who are adopted, and that could be biological family, it could be adopted family, foster scenarios, anything like that. Somebody who is impactful for you. Just lean into the energy, again, that feels correct for your circumstance and for history. So this individual, group 3, is well-educated, intelligent, or they were in this major past life, like very aware of everything going on around them, like watchful, always need to be watching, always need to be checking things out, very, very aware, ready to make moves. And I feel like this was a huge balancing act or a feat. And they would have had experience in lifetimes where the wrong move, that could end your reign, it ends your power, and possibly it could end your life in some circumstances. Things are not easy for this person, and we're not, and quite possibly dangerous in some instances. And I see a connection to you. Like, firstly, they're calling you a friend. a descendant in some cases, or seeing you as someone who has these kinds of qualities of, I want to say, kindness, intelligence, fortitude, like somebody who's being principled, or someone who is principled. Having the ability and the necessity also at the same time to juggle a lot. Like, you're able to juggle, but you have to juggle. And some of you may be actually doing this right now. Like, there's a mirroring that's happening, this juggling. And so they're coming in as someone who lends strength to you. They want to remind you all of what you're capable of. And that you have been through a lot tougher across your many lifetimes together. And that they're deeply proud of you, group 3. There is a fondness here of feeling like, that's so-and-so, that's my person. So this individual, I think, pops up when your life needs a bit more balance. And so you might ask yourself, is there a situation right now, group 3, where things could use a little more attention due to an imbalance? So this could be due to you like being too flexible, pushing yourself too much, taking on extra responsibilities, or not getting enough downtime. This could also have to do with someone in power who isn't delegating responsibilities appropriately. Yes, this would be a male, likely a male for many of you. Yeah. Put that the other way so you can see it better. Yeah, this is a large group watching, so the gender of this individual is not going to matter as much. So there's something to that, too. It's interesting. Look at this. Like, we have the lion on the strength card, right? Who's doing the work? They're doing the work, right? But then we have the lion here. Like, I'm sitting on this. I did this. I sit on my throne, and here's the lion that I tamed. Well, he didn't really tame the lion. Somebody else did the work. So it's like history repeating itself. They had something similar that went on with them. Someone else takes the credit for it. That may be actually going on with you right now as well. So, sneaky. I want to add in a little extra info here. So we have the 8 of Pumpkins in reverse. That's the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Right. Yeah, I think this guide is here to lend you strength in times that are tough, or during those times of imbalance we talked about. I just keep seeing this perfectly balanced, like figure 8. Even the bars of the cage there with the lion, that's really standing out. And look at this, we've got like spikes on the wall behind, being like caged in, walled in, barred in. Yeah. So if you're feeling that way, like you have to shrink a little bit, dim to fit in, things are out of balance, out of whack a little bit. And it could be because other people are possibly overstepping boundaries in some instances. So one person in particular, we've been kind of talking about that already, like overstepping or overusing power, possibly abusing power. That's what's really coming forward for me here. So there may be a bit of advice here surrounding this idea. I want to say too, if you hear noise, sorry, that's Goomba. He's just saying hey. And maybe that like really, there's an idea here right now that's happening that's really resonating for you. The idea is here, I think, since we have the 8 of Pumpkins in reverse here, their advice to you, if this is an individual that you're aware of right now, like don't be diplomatic, don't share too much with them if possible, keep things to yourself, don't be too friendly, group 3, okay? And I mean, that doesn't mean like you're not following etiquette, rules of like polite society, whatever that might be, but just don't be too friendly. You do what needs to be done when interacting with this person, and then you move on. So don't linger, don't share. If this is work, which I feel like it is for a lot of people, do your job and then head out at the end of the day. Don't work too hard on trying to convince this person of anything, right? So on this, the person is working hard. This is quite the opposite of that, all right? We're just kind of letting things go. If there's somebody who like kind of goes off sometimes, just like vents at you, you can listen, but just don't get too involved. Because I want to say this isn't your battle. You've got other stuff going on. It doesn't need to be your battle. You don't need to convince this person of anything. because they are never coming over to the other side of the cage, the bars, the wall, whatever. They're never coming over to your side, or they just don't share your principles. Okay? So this isn't going to be a message necessarily for every single person who's watching, but it is coming through so strongly, group 3. So keep your resolve and perhaps set a boundary up with this individual, because that is what's going to serve you best. Not trying to convince them of anything. Just do your thing and then move on. And I almost see this guide as being that diplomat, resting their hands on your shoulders during meetings or interactions that are tough, perhaps with this person, or just in general. It may not even be with, this particular situation, but they have this spine of steel, and so do you. I think that you can draw strength from the knowledge that this guide is with you when you need them, and not with anyone else. So I see them giving you a little squeeze on your shoulders as they're kind of stepping back here. We'll see if anything else comes through. I'm not getting anything else at the moment. So we're going to take a look at our next spirit who's stepping through. Okay, wow. So this is stunning energy. It's absolutely beautiful. This to me is like an angel. That's the, yeah, like a healing angel of some kind. It's some kind of higher being akin to this. Maybe not quite full blown. I'm not getting like an archangel, and not even quite like a guardian angel, but it's something that's very close to that. It's not lofty maybe in the way we think of an angel. It's just this really, really high vibrational energy. It's gorgeous. So not just a guide, but it's a being from another place, and it's lovely. They have this softness to them. It's a gentleness, it's a purity, and they definitely have healing abilities and are letting you know that you do too, right? Here's the Magician. That was the Ace of Ghosts, and this is the Magician. Some of you may know this already, that you have these healing abilities. And I think some of you probably scoff at the idea of this. And when I say healing, this is hands-on, but it's also, it's also emotional here, and it's energetic as well. I think your abilities really run the gamut. I think you can take people, from out of balance, like we see here with the 6 of Pumpkins, to like being out of tune or out of place. We've got the 9 of Bats there, 9 of Swords. And possibly like anxiety and sleeplessness as well, to, having happiness and comfort, like with wherever they are, which is the 3 of Ghosts. So I feel like this angelic being is claiming you, group 3, in a sense. I see them sort of standing behind you, and they have this glow around them. It's kind of enveloping you. It's in your aura. It's moving through your veins. It's these little golden white sparkles. And this being infuses you with this energy. It gives you healing while you have downtime, like while you're sleeping. But also, you may have just had like an experience where like they attuned you, or like you had an awakening almost. This is not a full-time guide for you, though. I do want to say it's more like they're coming forward because you have this shared healing ability and energy. It's like we're made out of the same stuff, like you're both made out of starlight or something. Something in them is also in you. They have begun activating this within you. or, you know, that activation has happened already. You get these infusions of healing energy and downtime. It's like little extra boosters, like during deep sleep, during deep meditation. Yeah, this is funny. I don't know. Like, you guys have some really unique spirits that are coming through here for you. I have never read anything quite like this before. So this is latent in you. It's already there. And this divine being is like served as a bit of an activator to this ability, waking things up a bit. And again, because this is a big group, I can't say exactly how this is going to unfold for each one of you, or that if it even needs to. Some of you might just say, you know, I don't claim that. I don't want that. And that's okay. It is something you can choose to develop. You can choose to work with this should you wish to. For most of you, there's just something soothing about being around you that others can sense. This is, you know, this energy here supporting your natural presence. And others of you may choose to work with this ability and channel it into many different ways. Interestingly enough, I see sand. I'm seeing like colored sand in bottles for some of you. It's like you're charging up crystals or rocks or sand, and you're sending people these little keepsakes, these artsy bottles of pebbles or crystals. Wow, Goomba is right here. He wants to knock things over here. You want to sit next to me? There you go, buddy. Okay. Music or sound is something else that I'm getting for you, like sound therapy, music therapy, like singing bowls, that kind of thing. Some of you are making like rollerball fragrances, like scent, working with scent. So it can be really kinesthetic, I think, is kind of like the point here. And it can take all manner of forms, like all different kinds of things. Some of you, it's just going to be like standard therapy. You might be a therapist, and it's like you have this extra little boost for you. For others, it could be touch, like massage or acupuncture, just talking and listening to a friend, like going out for a cup of coffee or something. Doing things online for some of you. It's just there are a lot of options here for this group. I would love to hear what it is that people are doing and how they're different. Yeah. So maybe that's something you can let us know about in the comment box below. But I think the important thing is, the bottom line is, whatever you do, it's going to be unique to you and it's going to be healing, right? So this angel pops in and out as you continue to refine your work. You know, it's like you're getting a little upgrade. You get angelic tune-ups as you move down this path. And they just have this gentle and super comforting touch. And I see them reaching out and kind of stroking your cheek. It's just absolutely lovely, group 3. And I don't feel there's really anything else that needs to be said about this one, because it's just this beautiful gift. You know, it's a unique bond with this being, and you guys are kind of like made of the same thing, right? And this is something you share with other people. You cheer them up, quite literally. Help them find new things about themselves. Yeah, see new ways of being. And you breathe, you have the opportunity to breathe some kind of interesting healing modality into existence. All right, so what I'd like to do is take a look at any other last energies or advice that's coming through for you. And so I've got 3 decks here. I have the Sacred Self-Care Oracle, Inquire Within deck, and the I Am Powerdeck. And we're just going to pull and see what comes out. Okay, so we've got clarity of mind. Being yourself is sacred. It doesn't have to be perfect. celebrate little things, and then we have gratitude, as well as I am pause and I am divine. So I think with the Inquire Within Oracle here, these are just little touchstones to remind you of some of the messages we've talked about today. Especially if you're dealing with that like individual, I would almost label as toxic, that clarity of mind is really important. And also too, this idea like things don't have to be perfect. And neither does it either if you're developing this healing modality. You just have to take those first steps, right? Yeah, being yourself is sacred. Whatever you're bringing to the table here is really important. But here too, do your job and just kind of move on. Remember, you can't convince this person. You just kind of stick to yourself. Be yourself. Yeah. And then, of course, I think these are beautiful things and mindsets to get into. Celebrating the little things, having gratitude. They kind of go together here. You have a lot of very cool spirit energy around you. And so you can take a pause here and there, like I am pause, and just kind of celebrate what's going on with you. And, give thanks to the universe and have that gratitude. I think more blessings will be coming into you as you step into that. And this here too, I want to go back to that's reminding me, being yourself is sacred. You have this sacred DNA within you. Whatever this is that you share with this angelic being, it's really important. You're able to put that out into the world if that's something that you want to do. Remember your own divinity. So take a moment too. I think the I am pause is important with what's happening over here as well. I think this is just about giving yourself some time to process things a little bit here, having that gratitude, celebrating stuff, and just make sure you're moving and you have clarity of thought when you're doing things. And these might be nice mantras for you from the I am Powerdeck. I am pause and I am divine. All right, so take those however you see fit. You might have other messages or other ways to interpret those. And you can let us know about that in the comment box below. But I'm going to leave your reading here. That's what's coming through for you today. So I just want to thank you for being here with us. And if you're inclined, just share your thoughts in the comment box below. Leave an angel emoji. I think we can go with that to represent that second being there. And that also lets others know that they're part of that same group 3 crew. And any words that you choose to leave with us, do remember that they guide others on their own paths. If you felt this video was of value, please share with others who may likewise enjoy it. And if you did enjoy this, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you are notified when new videos are uploaded. I am sending you love and light, and I have big gratitude as always for you being here, especially if you're still listening and we're all the way through the video. So I appreciate it. I love it. Thank you so much, Group 3. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends. Hey, Group 4. If you picked the Everyday Witch Tarot and this Yooperlite, which I will try to remember to shine a UV light on this one and add that in so you can see what it looks like. Welcome to your Messages from Spirit reading. So what this is going to entail today is us taking a look at the spirits who have messages for you, who they might be and how you know them, and then anything that they may have to say and share with you. And we will be looking at more than one. Sometimes they come in groups, and so far we've kind of been doing two groups. So keep in mind too that there are a lot of people watching this today, and so please take what resonates and leave the rest. So you may not connect with a particular spirit coming forward, but what they have to say may strike a chord within you, or you might recognize the individual, and you can lean into that kind of enthusiasm, but you may not resonate so much with what they're saying. It's more like the validation that they're here. And so many of you may have messages that are going across multiple groups today. So be sure if you did get drawn to another group that you check that out. All right, we are going to hop right into this today. So we have the 7 of Cups, Four of Wands. This is going to be our first guide. We'll stop here. The Page of Cups. We're going to go with these 3. Okay. So group 4, the spirit coming in has an energy or likeness to this Page of Cups individual. So somebody that's like youthful, idealistic, ready to try new things. There's just a curiosity here about others in the world. And I feel like they have transitioned, some time ago. This is not like a recent transition. So this would be an individual that was incarnated here on Earth. I would say 30 years ago or more for some of you, and for others this will be different though. So some of you knew this person, whether it was like a relative or a neighbor or someone maybe that went to your school, someone your parents maybe knew. Others of you did not. Regardless of the connection, you have their attention, and they want to talk about some things that they're seeing or they're noticing right now. The world according to the kid down the street. So firstly, they notice a busyness with you. Okay. Wow. That is Goomba snoring and saying, hey. And so this busyness might be around your career. It might be around family or friendships, travel, politics, religion, spirituality, causes, whatever, beliefs, just kind of juggling all of these things. It makes me almost dizzy. Oh my gosh. And look at the shopkeeper here. They have like this knowing look on their face. It's almost like, what do they call that? Breaking the wall, or breaking, I don't know what wall you're breaking, but they're staring out at you. Like, can you believe this person? Like, look what's going on with them. Yeah, it's like you're in the office when they do that, like they stare at the camera. There may be a lot going on with you, group 4. And I get the feeling that this individual just feels like your head is spinning. And I'm seeing like Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice when he's like spinning his head around. He's inside the model with Adam and Barbara. And the spirit is just like laughing about it. Just, giving knowing looks like, oh my goodness. And they think you should relax a little bit more. Whether you want to take that advice or not. This is coming from, again, the kid down the street. But just to like slow down and enjoy life. And they want to point out that little things can be meaningful. So like on this, our Page of Cups is painting, right? And they're showing me how you can paint something with very broad brush strokes, covering a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And they're kind of showing me like a lack of depth there. Like things look thin and watery to me. And I'm hearing something like teachers used to say when we would talk about curriculum that lacked depth for whatever reason that might be. And we would call that inch deep, mile wide curriculum. And so their broad brushstroke painting that they're showing me is inch deep, mile wide. Then they're going to compare, and they show a painting that's a close-up of flowers and vegetation, like a garden. And it's like you can jump into it, and there's a whole world within there. You can see the small insects inside here. You see the dust motes that are like flying around in the air, the oxygen that the plants are giving off. Like you smell the loamy soil. It's almost like the whole thing's breathing. It's the way that everything works together beautifully in tandem. It's like systems that work together as a whole, like all of the moving parts, and the detail is just absolutely incredible. And so this guide wonders where you can make a little more room in your life, to dig in here and, live in more of like a saturated kind of oxygenated space. Where is it like you can make a little space? Which one of those cups could you let go of there? And I think this is kind of where they're pointing out this 4 of Wands kind of celebratory thing that we see here, the richness and the slowing down that brings to life when we can slow down a little bit. They're reminding us that life is quick. It moves by quickly. They're suggesting that, slowing down just a bit brings you closer to your authentic nature, but it also allows for deeper connections and bonds with your nearest and dearest. Now, I don't think they're telling you you're shallow. Please don't take it that way. I mean, I don't know, maybe they are. I don't know who this kid is, but they're just pointing out ways that there could be a little more color in your life, a little more depth. And they're not suggesting either that you block off communication with other people. If you're somebody who's more extroverted, that's probably not going to happen. They're just asking you to try to be as present as possible with what you are doing. And if there is something that you are doing out of obligation instead of passion and joy, could you drop that? It's almost like I see people when they go out together, on dates or something, they're on their phones all the time. Like, really? You're sitting at a booth together and you're on your phone? For me, like, that's not okay. Like, the phone would be put away, but everybody's different. And this is sort of like, you know, you could save some time by connecting with the person across from you as opposed to, like, you know, being on social media at that moment. So this soul to me is like very wise beyond their years, with a hint of childlike wonder that they've held on to. And I think this wonder and this curiosity and this presence is what they want to share with you. It's like a little gift to you so that you can paint your own masterpiece here. Yeah, and oh my gosh, even with this rock, like they're pointing this out, this has hidden depths to it. You know, all those different colors that you see under the UV light when it glows. You know, it's like with the soda light that's in here that makes this rock glow that you wouldn't ordinarily see, but it's like you're taking it to the next level. And that's what you're going to have. You're going to have more of this richness and depth. If you can just kind of slow down a little bit, let some things go. And obviously this isn't going to be the case for absolutely everything. We can't all do that. We don't have the luxury of doing that, but there are some little things that you can do to just, I think, get a little more peace for yourself too. I think by creating more space for deeper, richer connections, you're going to feel better overall. You're going to find that you have more space. Like it's almost like the shift happens around you. There's like a bubble around you. All right. And they're like a kid, they're done. So we're going to slide that off to the side and we are going to look at our other cards here and see what else is coming through for you. Okay. This Empress, she always has this spacey look on her face, I think. This, though, I feel is kind of representative of who's coming through. It's a spirit guide, and I think it's somebody that you have known in other lifetimes. They're an old soul. They've had a lot of different incarnations. This is definitely not somebody who is, you know, new, as we have the Fool in reverse here. This time, in your particular lifetime, they have stayed back so they can be a guide for you. They lean towards a feminine energy, or it's possible that in like a particularly strong shared lifetime, the two of you were female, and you might have even been part of, you know, some kind of group of women, as we see here with the Three of Cups, whether it was like a religious thing or, you know, like if you were all nuns in a convent somewhere or something else. And this doesn't mean that this individual has been female in every incarnation. It's just how the energies are presenting themselves. And this relationship, I would say, is probably a primary spirit guide, okay? So this is a guide who's always been with you in this lifetime. So you may have set that intention between lifetimes that you would incarnate and they would stay back as a guide for you this time. So there is a big group of people watching this. So I'm not going to go for appearance, as that's going to differ greatly from person to person, but what remains the same is this idea of a feminine energetic energy who's a primary guide, and you have met this spirit in some kind of past shared lifetime. And so they're kind of like, stop tripping over your words, like let's just get into it. So group 4, they're going to push into the messages, and they want to say that there's something that's holding you up here, like the devil. It is basically, there's something that's blocking progress, as we have the Chariot in reverse here. It's stopping things from being swift. So it's like you're still moving forward, but it's not as quickly as it could be. And this could be a situation. It could be a set of limiting beliefs or habits. Habits. Yeah. For a lot of you, it could be that. And it also could be a person. It's not, if it is a person, I'm not getting that it is some like sinister individual who wants to do you dirty. It's like not as that is. It's like nothing malicious as that for the majority of folks watching. It's more about you and your actions and your reactions, group 4. And this guide's making me see this like you have control here. You know, I don't know. We have the crown on the head and the scepter there, or the wand. It's, yeah, even if that doesn't necessarily feel to be the case all the time, like you do have some control over this. And this feels like she's sitting down and wanting to give you a pep talk, like nothing too heavy, just like, look, as a friend and someone who can see it all, as someone who knows you and how you move through the world, this is what I'm seeing right now. This is what I'm observing. You know, it's very no nonsense. It's very loving. You know, exactly how you might want a best friend to be. And they aren't telling you what to do. They're just pointing out what they see. And what they're seeing is that there is something you are connected to, something you're chained to, something or someone that you are repeatedly or habitually, you know, revisiting. Like you keep going back, and it's like, I just want to listen to this one song in my playlist, and you just keep going back to either that playlist or just that song over, just hitting play, getting that like little buzz. And it's almost like a dalliance. It's like costing you progress that you might like to see. It's costing you time, and that's time that you could better use moving toward goals and working on your future you, group 4. So again, only you know what this habit or situation or person is, whatever this is I'm talking about. And this guide they're not telling you either like you need to cut something or someone out cold turkey. Like it's not something that just needs to be completely severed. This feels more like, how do you want to spend your time? They're just asking you to think about this. Is there a better way that you could spend it? Or how can you reprioritize and recenter yourself here so that this other thing or person isn't occupying so much mental real estate? This is interesting because we did have kind of a similar message here about like reprioritizing or not juggling so much. And so maybe in this instance, like the shared message is about creating more of a bubble for you, more space for you. Yeah. This, whatever this is, doesn't deserve to occupy so much mental real estate for you. And so this guide wants you to know that you're special, and they want you to reconnect with that. They're reminding you of all the lessons that you've learned across your many years together, because neither one of you is a spring chicken, especially not when we put like all the years together that you have here. Yeah. You've got lifetimes of experience between the two of you, group 4. And we have the 7 of Swords here. And typically this is kind of like a sneaky thing. I think this did pop up in another group as well. Might have been the first one. This isn't so much about that though. It's not about being sneaky and like walking away from something or someone. It's just like refocusing. It's putting your attention back onto your goals and onto yourself. It's kind of like you got off track here. Like you went maybe, like you picked one way and maybe you needed to go the other way. One way's maybe just a little more windy. It's like the scenic route, right? And the other way's like a little more direct. Yeah. If this is a person that you're really attached to, if you focus back on yourself, you can always see if they catch up with you, if they choose to catch up, if they can catch up with you. If this is like you maybe indulging in, you know, too much drink or like Halloween candy, or, you know, they've got ice cream on here. You know, this isn't about going hardcore and cutting yourself off from everything. It's just, again, recentering, reprioritizing healthier habits. You know, eat a Snickers bar if you want to. Moderation is what's coming through, like not deprivation. Moderation and a healthy recentering on the self. So it's like pick 1 or 2 things at a time. If this is more than one habit we're talking about here, because we've got the ice cream, we've got the money over here, you know, pick 1 or 2 things, make that gentle shift. And as you begin to do this, I think the progress you've been making will pick up that speed and momentum that's going to flip the script here. And I want to see too that, you know, again, as one thing it changes, and I think I said this over here as well, it'll have a bit of a cascading effect, you know. While it may appear these things are unrelated, it really isn't, because one thing's going to shift and it's going to make room for some other positive change, and then something else happens as a result of that. So it's just this, it's like a waterfall, right? We're cascading down, and it's going to be easy and a lot easier than you're thinking. This guide wants you to get back up on the horse and take the reins is really what's coming through, you know. And while I was kind of seeing this Empress card as the guide, I do want to say as well that this individual, this being, is also pointing out that you will get more into alignment with this kind of energy as well. Like someone who's healthy and vibrant and able to manifest and create the changes that they would like to be and they would like to see in their lifetime. You know, generally being one with themselves and being at peace. Yeah. You know, moving towards something like this. More celebratory energies. So there's a lot of potential for you, Group 4, and your guide is here to give you that gentle, but I want to say a firm kick in the rear. So what I'd like to do now that I did with the other groups is we're going to take a look at any last energies or advice that's coming through for you. And so I've got 3 oracle decks here: Inquire Within, the Sacred Self-Care Oracle, and the I Am Powerdeck. And I'm just going to pick by intuition, and we're going to see what comes through. All right, so we went with the I Am Power deck, and I feel like these are all kind of related to one another. We have I Am Intention, I Am Light, and I Am Genuine. These can be mantras that you can use, but the intention I feel is very important for the kind of advice and messages that were coming through for me from these spirits. You know, choosing to get into genuine alignment with yourself here, having that intention to move forward with it. And then also, and I want to go back to this, the I am genuine, honoring that, being genuine with yourself, being caring with yourself, and going for what you really want. Maybe not like the expectations that others might have for you. Because I feel like that is where a lot of this is coming in. Like, I have to achieve all these things. I have to be all of these things. But what do you really want? Take a moment and slow down. Remember the advice of that little kid from down the street. And then I am light. I almost feel like this is like an energetic cleanse for you. Coming in, letting light into the nooks and the crannies and the places where the light's not ordinarily hitting. It's going to kind of blast through. I feel like, you know, adding light to the situation, it's like adding space to the situation. Once you start making small changes, there's going to be a lot that does change. You're going to have a lot more breathing room. Some of you want to get some energy work done while you're doing this. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself as much as possible. But also honor, like, the changes that you have been making. Track that stuff. Like, write it down and see what is coming through for you there. Because you may start to notice that you've created a lot more changes than you thought you have. And as a result of that, there is more light and more space. And I feel like when you are looking back over these changes with this record, it's going to make you feel good about what it is that you have achieved. So I am intention, I am light, I am genuine. All right. Okay, so that was a little sassy, I will say, compared to the others. So good for you for hanging in here if you've made it this far. And that is what's coming through for you today, Group 4. I'm going to leave your reading here. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you're inclined, please share your thoughts in the comment box below. Let's go with our little friend. And they're going to maybe leave your favorite art emoji, whatever that means to you, whether it's art or music, whatever art is to you. Go ahead and leave that to represent that page of Cup Spirit. And this will also let others know you're part of the Group 4 crew. And then, of course, remember, any words you choose to leave with us also help guide others on their own paths as well. We'd love to hear what you've been doing for yourself. And if you felt this video was of value, please share it with others who might likewise enjoy it. And if you did enjoy this, please give this video a like, consider subscribing to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you are notified of any new uploads. I am sending you love and light, my friends. And as always, I have big gratitude for you being here, especially if you are listening and watching all the way to the end. Love it. All right. Thank you, Group 4. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, my friends.